So Borderlands 4 is finally here, and I've just put in over 150 hours, and I think I'm ready, guys. I think that's more than enough time for me to finally talk about this game, okay? So the Borderlands series has been with us for over a decade now, and with every entry, it has to fight against its own shadow. The first game, very much lightning in a bottle, an RPG shooter with irreverent humor and a loot system that hooked players instantly. The second game doubled down on everything and became an absolute cult classic, and my favorite. The third, well, it landed with mixed reception. Fun gameplay, yes, but many felt the story was overcooked, the humor way too forced, and the characters lacked the bite that had once defined the franchise. So, with all that said, where does Borderlands 4 fall? Borderlands 4, in terms of its place within the Borderlands series, is the best Borderlands game that we've ever got. The pacing, the story, the characters, everything that's been delivered by Gearbox here is top tier Borderlands. And even after 150 hours of playing this game, I still feel like it has more to give. Not to say that the game is perfect. To be honest, I don't really think many games coming out today are. And with some performance issues aside, Borderlands 4 is pretty damn close. It feels like Gearbox took on board all the criticism and all the problems that everybody had with Borderlands 3 and just went to work. And it feels like nothing got more love and work than the story. The most immediate thing I noticed was how much more grounded the story feels. The story is strong, and a lot of the side quests are memorable and fun. The writers clearly wanted to give the Vault Hunters more personality and the narrative a ton more weight, and it works. The humor is still there, but it doesn't overwhelm the main plot the way it used to. Instead, the game's story takes surprisingly heartfelt turns, especially in the later chapters. Without spoiling anything, let's just say the ending had more emotional punch than I was expecting from a Borderlands game. The campaign deals with themes of legacy, betrayal, and survival. The villains are more nuanced this time around. Instead of cartoony evil caricatures, they have motivations that, while twisted, actually make sense within the world. It's the first time in a while where I found myself genuinely interested in the antagonist's perspective rather than just waiting for the next boss fight. Borderlands 4 takes place on the planet Kairos 6 years after Borderlands 3's Moonfall event, with a new generation of Vault Hunters arriving amidst a revolution against the planet's tyrannical dictator, the Timekeeper. The Timekeeper, who wields control over the planet and its people through implanting bolt devices, captures the Vault Hunters and forces a bolt onto them, trapping them on the planet. Players must work with revolutionary factions like the Crimson Resistance and the Outbounders to take down the Timekeeper's forces and uncover the secrets of the planet's vault. The world itself feels vast and alive. The map is massive, like huge, cleverly designed to minimize loading screens outside of some special areas like boss arenas, and dense with super memorable side quests, collectibles, and points of interest. It rewards exploration in a way Borderlands 3 often failed to. The addition of grappling to preset points, double jumping, wall climbing, and a glide pack all pair incredibly well with the amazing boss fights and the arena designs. These additions revamp the combat in the Borderlands franchise, and I think make for some thrilling engagements. Vehicles now summon instantly, a very divisive idea before launch, but a welcome convenience given the map's scale. Driving physics remain a weak point, however, with vehicle jumps feeling oddly heavy, like you barely get off the ground, and I just question what the hell is even the point. Safe houses act as puzzle-like fast travel points, often a mix of like clever design, and a couple are very frustrating, but you'll get there. Loot remains at the heart of Borderlands, and Borderlands 4 revamps the formula in a meaningful way. Legendary drop rates have been dialed back dramatically from Borderlands 3. And let me be the first to say, thank God. It makes blues and purples viable once again. Some legendaries feel powerful and innovative, others more gimmicky, but the chase for the gear feels rewarding and fun. The new licensed parts system lets weapons cross-pollinate manufacturer traits, meaning a Malawan weapon can have critical ricochet from a Jacobs weapon. And trust me, you want the ricochet Jacobs part. Trust me when I tell you this, you want that part. This helps create builds that shred enemies when paired correctly. Meanwhile, firmware introduces a new layer of non-weapon gear rolling on shields, ordnance, class mods, and more. Firmware comes in tiered set bonuses that encourage both mixing and stacking, with up to 5 slots available and the ability to transfer perks in the endgame, albeit at a cost. This system deepens the endgame grind and opens the door to be highly customized builds. Like right now I'm rocking a Rafa build where my Peacekeeper cannons are active. I don't even need to fire my gun. Like these things are so strong, they'll just clear the room for me. Like it's a great build. I love it. Rafa OP. Love Rafa. Enemies are smarter too though. Gone are the days where mobs simply rushed you in waves, now they flank, take cover, and force you to think about positioning. This is especially true on the harder difficulties, where one wrong move can leave you surrounded and scrambling. The new skill trees are another highlight though. Rather than being funneled into narrow archetypes, I felt encouraged to mix and match abilities to build something that truly suited my playstyle. For example, I experimented with a crit focus setup that turned every encounter into a fireworks show of glowing numbers and blood and guts and heads. Later, I shifted to a more support-oriented build when I was playing co-op, buffing allies and weakening enemies. The flexibility here adds a layer of replayability that was sort of missing from the earlier games. I was never one to really respec in the earlier Borderlands games, and this is really the first time where I've dabbled with respecking. I was the sort of player that picked a tree, went down the tree, got my ultimate, played the game that way. But Borderlands 4 almost encourages you to do that. Encourages you to get in, encourages you to try new things. And I think that new way of playing for me also just added to my enjoyment. Boss fights deserve a big shout out too. They're big, bombastic, and most importantly, especially for a Borderlands game, bloody memorable. Each major boss feels distinct, with unique mechanics that force you to adapt instead of simply emptying magazines until a health bar disappears. All of these are clever additions that keep the loot loop fresh, well past the main campaign. Visually, the cel-shaded style continues to shine. Environments are more varied than ever, ranging from a neon-soaked sky to desolate wastelands that feel truly lived in. The art team deserves credit for pushing the aesthetic without losing that instantly recognizable Borderlands identity. Paired with a surprisingly solid soundtrack and punchy sound design, the presentation goes a long way towards immersing you in the utter mayhem. Borderlands has always been at its best when shared with friends, and Borderlands 4 is no different. Playing co-op adds an extra layer of chaos and fun. The scaling feels more balanced this time around, so solo players aren't punished, but groups still feel like they're getting a unique experience. Replayability is also strong, with multiple characters, branching skill trees, and loot that practically begs experimentation. I can already see myself running through the campaign again with a different build. Endgame content leans into this as well, offering challenging dungeons and rotating events that keep the loop fresh. Now, for all its strengths, Borderlands makes some puzzling omissions. Land play is gone, dueling, trading, photo mode, emotes, trinkets, slot machines, auto sell on pickup, and text chat. They're just all gone. Co-op also has what we're going to call quirks. Fast travel triggers a countdown for all players, which feels weird in a massive load screenless map. And in some cases, map progress, like unlocking safe houses, only saves for the host, which just sucks. Why would I want to go back and do it again in my own world if I've already done it in somebody else's? Just start looking for both. All right, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, there are launch bugs, the occasional crash. I played on PS5 and was lucky enough to have next to no problems. That being said, optimization is badly needed, and it appears Gearbox are well aware, as we have had a few updates since launch that seem to have made strides in fixing the game on PC and making it a little bit nicer on console. But, in saying that, Borderlands 4 is arguably the most ambitious entry in the series. With a memorable story, rewarding loot chase, and evolved combat systems that breathe fresh life into the formula, it's also rough around the edges, relying too heavily on frame regeneration for performance and trimming away features fans expected. Still, after 150 hours, the game never stopped being fun to me. Despite the technical flaws, Gearbox's baffling decisions on quality of life features, this could be the best Borderlands yet, provided that the studio follows through with the optimization and updates. Look, if you're a Borderlands fan, definitely jump in. If you're somebody who's thinking about dabbling in the series, maybe wait for the updates, maybe wait for the game to be a little bit fixed. I think the big takeaway from this is Borderlands 4 is definitely the best one we've gotten. 2 is still my favorite, but who knows, maybe in a couple of years I might be singing a different tune. But with that being said, I 100% recommend Borderlands 4. Well, that is the review for Borderlands 4, and that is the end of the Borderlands reviews. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and hopefully watching all the reviews. If you haven't, they're up on the channel right now. Feel free to go and watch the Borderlands reviews. If not, I'll be putting them in a big playlist sort of video. I'll put them all in one video, hopefully in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.